Hey guys! Welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to show you guys how to make a custom last man standing mechanic. Perfect for anything ranging from a spectator zone to a Gulag system, or even something like the amazing Spanky Sully did in Purgatory, where when you die you can do other stuff while others fight out the zone wars. Link in the description below if for some unknown reason you don't know that map yet. Check it out. It's very easy and opens up a ton of possibilities. So let's go! So I actually used the same mechanic in a lot of different maps, and the base concept of it is actually really easy. So let me first show you guys what the difference is between the normal last man standing and the custom one. The first one is very simple and it's the normal typical one. So you would set the spawn limit to 1 and the last man standing wins the game is set to true, meaning that if you die, you just spectate whoever killed you. And when there's only one person left, the game ends. Which is how most of zone wars and all of that work. But first of all, it can be really boring just to spectate other people until the game ends. So that's what we're going to make today. But before we do that, let's set the spawn limit back to infinite, because we need to respawn as a spectator in a spectator zone instead of just following someone around. So to show this mechanic, I'm going to make a tiny free-for-all map right here just to demonstrate. And don't worry, we're taking this step by step. So, step 1, well, actually step 0 because it's only preparing work. Set up our spectating zone. I'm just going to take a hover platform and put it above my map. And then set up a barrier right on top of it. Change the width and depth to 100. And now just build a wall and add a couple of spawn pads right on top of it. These will be the spawn pads that are used when someone is eliminated, and they can just roam around freely above the arena. But before I go on, very quickly, because we're about to go very deep into the zone in following and trying to figure out this mechanic, so if you're new around here, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, please, it really helps and we're on our way to 50k by the end of the year. Thank you! Okay, so actual step 1 now. Making sure the player spawns inside the fighting arena for the first time, but once they get eliminated, they respawn somewhere else, being our spawn pads in our spectator zone. So we have our spawn pads up there, but we need the ones in the arena as well. And what we're going to do is just have these here in the arena be enabled at game start, and the ones in the spectator zone disabled. And then when the game starts, we're just going to switch them around and disable these here inside the arena and enable the ones up there. So configure the spawn pads in your actual free-for-all map or zone wars or whatever, and set the disable when receiving from to channel 1, or any free channel you have. Once you've set up all your spawn pads down here, and make sure that they're disabled on channel 1, fly to your spectator zone and set the enable during phase to none, and the enable when receiving from to channel 1. This way they'll just switch around. Now the only thing that is left to do is just actually send a signal on this channel. And how can we do that? Very easy. Just grab a trigger and place it somewhere outside of your map. Then configure it and scroll down a little bit. Set the activate on game phase to game start. Then add a 1-second delay just to be sure. And then scroll all the way to the bottom and set the when triggered transmit on to channel 1. So what will happen when the game starts? This trigger right here will send a signal on channel 1, and after 1 second it disables all the spawn pads in the fighting arena and enables the one in the spectator area. So let's see what would happen. We're fighting, and as soon as I get killed, I respawn in the spectator area. Now, here's the issue, and here's what we actually need to do. So someone please put a timestamp to this point in the comments below so that I can pin it, please. We need to detect when there's only one player left in the actual arena. Why? Well, you can see there's still 2 people down there. But if one of them gets killed, he'll also respawn up here, and the game won't actually end because everybody is still alive. There are many different ways to do this. One could be, for example, to use the player counting system that people use for giving placement points. There are many videos on that. but I wanted to do something way easier that doesn't slurp up that many channels. And let me show you guys how I've made this really easy last man custom standing mechanic. So step 2, activating the last man standing mechanism will implement right after this. So this is different for every type of map. For example, in musical chairs, the last man standing check needs to happen every time someone didn't manage to jump on a chair when the music stops. But in our example right here, we need to activate this check every time someone dies. So every time someone dies, we'll count the players still in the arena, and if there's more than one, do nothing. If there is one, we end the game. How are we going to do that? Take a team and inventory device and just place it outside of your map. And set the when enemy eliminated transmit on channel 2. Now for the almost last part, which is actually the complicated part, setting up the counting players inside of our map. So step 3. Counting the players and checking if there's more than one still in the arena. And to do so, we'll need a mutator zone. So I'm just going to set it up right here in the middle of my arena. And set the width and depth to 100 and the height to 4. This covers everything down here, which is our fighting arena, but not the spectators in the sky. Set the allow weapon fire to on. Obviously, we don't want people to be interrupted when shooting because some other player died. Then scroll down and set the enabled on game start to no. Next up, set the enable when receiving from to channel 2. Channel 2 is our activating channel, so for us that's on every kill. And while we're here, let's also set the when player entering, send a signal on to channel 3. So what does this exactly mean? Every time someone gets eliminated, this mutator zone will enable and send a signal on channel 3 for every single player inside of the zone. And what are we going to do? Well, we're going to set up a sequencer outside of our map. And the only thing that we need to configure in it is scroll all the way down to the channels, and we're going to start the sequencer when receiving from channel 3. So every time someone gets eliminated, the mutator activates and the sequencer will start. And stop it when receiving from channel 4, a new channel. And now next to our sequencer, we're adding a trigger. Let me first tell you guys how to configure it, and then I'll explain it. So hold on, don't get scared. Set the timescan trigger and the transmit every X triggers both to 2. The trigger when receiving from to channel 3. When triggered, transmit on to channel 4. And the reset times triggered to 2. Okay, now what does this do? Every time someone dies, the mutator zone is going to send a signal on channel 3. And here we set the trigger every X amount of times to 2. So that means if there are 2 or more people in the actual zone, it's going to transmit at least twice on channel 3. Meaning that the signal gets sent on to channel 4, because we set it to transmit every 2 triggers. If there's only one player in the zone, it's not going to send on the signal on channel 4 because it didn't reach the minimum of transmit every X amount of times, which is 2. And what exactly does 4 do? It instantly stops the sequencer that got activated when all of this started. So what does this mean in total? Someone gets eliminated, which then activates this sequencer. But at the same time, we're counting the players within the mutator zone. If there are more than 2 players, this trigger will stop the sequencer from running. And if there's only one player, meaning there's only one left, he's the last guy standing, we will not stop the sequencer. And now we can do our very last part, which is finishing the round. And let me just finish this very last part, and then I'll just recap it one more time all together. So step 4, ending the round. Add a trigger inside of the sequencer zone and just have it transmit on channel 5, our next free channel in 9. Don't forget, I'm using these channels, but if you already have channels in use, you can just replace these channels with whatever you have free. And finally, grab a round device. Scroll all the way to the bottom and set the end round when receiving on to channel 5. Now before we recap, there's one more thing which we forgot, which is disabling our mutator zone again to prepare this mechanism to run again as soon as the next player dies. So just fly back to your mutator zone and set the disable when receiving from to channel 4 as well. And that's it, guys. Okay, let me explain it one more time, one more recap. Step 1. This trigger right here will make sure that after the first spawn in the arena, The spawn pads get disabled and enabled in the spectator zone. Step 2. Every time someone gets a kill, we're going to start counting how many players are left in the arena with this mutator zone. Step 3. If there are more than 2 people still in the arena, stop the sequencer and do nothing, because we're not at the last man standing point yet. If there is only 1 player, this trigger will not activate, meaning the sequencer will not be stopped, meaning the trigger will be hit and end the round. Ta-da! And that's it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, don't forget to leave a like and hit that subscribe button. It really helps. We're on our way to hit 50k subs by the end of the year, so help a brother out, please. Thank you! Also, leave a comment in the comment section below if you have any requests or what tutorial you want to see next, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace!